Today in the rest of Japan, we're going to avoid getting eaten by a bear. Hello honoured viewer, and welcome back to the rest of Japan, where we invite you to join us as we explore Japan outside Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka. As part of our recent travels through Nagano Prefecture, we found ourselves in the well-preserved historic Edo-period town of Narai-Juku, which is located about 78 kilometers southwest of Nagano. It's roughly an hour's drive or 2.5 hours by train, not counting the need to change at Matsumoto en route. The town is famous for being an important stop along the Nakasendo post road back in the Edo period, which is roughly 1603 to 1853 or so. The Nakasendo was a 534-kilometre post road connecting Kyoto, the imperial capital, to Edo, modern-day Tokyo, where the shogun lived, and ran via the mountains of what was then known as Shinano province, in contrast to the better-known Tokaido, which ran along the coast and whose route is more or less followed by the Shinkansen today. There is a fascinating account of walking the Nakasendo from Kyoto to Tokyo, written by C.W. Lawrence, a diplomat with the British legation based in Tokyo, and published in the June 1873 edition of the Journal of the Royal Geographic Society. His account provides an invaluable snapshot of the route as it existed right at the very end of its time as a significant route between the two Japanese capitals. The journey took Mr. Lawrence and his companions 18 days. He notes in his report that the Tokaido route along the coast is 40 kilometres shorter and can be travelled in 12 days instead of 18. It also notes that, with the exception of Mount Fuji, the scenery is much better along the Nakasendo route. And this here is a view of Narai-Juku as it is today, still largely preserved as it was during the Edo period. The section of the route leading south of Narai-Juku heads over the Tori Pass, which is a mountain route peaking at 1,197 metres above sea level before heading down to the town of Yabahara on the other side. The hike between Narai-Juku and Yabahara, depending on your fitness level, takes around 3 to 4 hours. Do ignore Google Maps estimates here. The original plan had been to get the train to Narai-Juku, hike over the Tori Pass from Narai-Juku to Yabahara, then get the train back to Nagano from there. Unfortunately, the timetables didn't work out, and it would have involved having to stay in Yabahara overnight, which wasn't an option since I was already staying in Nagano. Even just walking to the Tori gate at the top of the pass and back was not an option, as that was still going to take around 3 hours and would leave me stuck in Narai-Juku overnight. However, since I'd come all this way, I was determined to walk at least some of the route, and headed for the trailhead just above Narai-Juku. The route we're taking is via the southern end of Narai-Juku, and it passes the Shizume Jinja Shrine, which we mentioned in our video on Narai-Juku town. Instead of heading back here though, we're going to keep going towards the trailhead. This is where the trail splits off from the road. You can see the steps heading up to the right. As you can guess, that's where we're heading. We're barely out of Narai-Juku, and it's clear there's going to be a bit of uphill work involved for anyone planning to do the full Tori Pass hike. Interestingly, one of the things Mr. Lawrence noted in his 1873 travelogue, besides it taking 12 days to walk from Kyoto to the Narai-Juku region, is that the Torii Pass between Yabahara and Narai-Juku is the highest point of the entire Nakasendo Trail. At this part we meet back up with the road, which heads up and around to the left a bit more before culminating in a car park for hikers and the Nakasendo Trailhead itself. One of the first things you see at the trailhead is this bell, which is there because of bears. Yes, it turns out Japan, unlike Australia, has bears in some of its rural areas. In some parts of the world like the US, the best way to deal with bears is a 45-70 rifle. Japan, however, takes a much less terminal approach to bear coexistence and instead has bells. At the start of some hiking areas, including this part of the Nakasendo, there's a bell you can ring to warn bears of your presence and scare them off. Speaking of bells, did you know there's one in button form underneath this video? And if you click it, you can ring the bell to subscribe to this channel. Right, time for some hiking. This section of the trail has been preserved with its cobblestones, and while at least from the Narai-Juku end it's going uphill, it's still a paved trail and provides a really nice sense of what it might have been like walking this route centuries ago. In the interests of helping you enjoy a more authentic experience, I'm going to keep the commentary to a minimum from here on, although I'll still pop in from time to share some observations at key points. This sign has the names of people from the local community who help look after this section of trail. Isn't that nice? I'm really glad they're getting acknowledged. It's been a lovely walk so far, but I've just checked my watch and realised if I don't start heading back now, I'm going to miss the train. So we're going to turn around and start heading back. And here's the bear bell again, so we're back at the trailhead. We're going to make a slight detour on our way back to town. Bear with me for a sec, I promise it's going to be worth it. This is a magnificent spot for a view of Narai-Juku. It's an incredibly picturesque town, so you can see why we've decided to take a small detour here to come and see this view. Well worth it. Okay, we'd better get back on the trail and head back into town if we want to make sure we can catch our train. and we're back in Narai-Juku, with just enough time to do some souvenir shopping, grab a cup of coffee, and then head to the railway station and get the train home. And how's that for timing? Here's the train back to Matsumoto, from where we can get another train back to Nagano, and there find a public bath to soak in after all the walking we've been doing today. Thank you so much for joining us on our Nakasendo experience today. We've enjoyed having you, and we hope you've enjoyed the video. If you haven't already seen it, please be sure to watch our video on Narai-Juku and its history, or check out one of the many other videos on the channel. And we'll see you next time as we continue to explore the rest of Japan.